The other thing when buying domain names, I think people, it's very easy, especially when you jump into Flippa, there's so many listings in there now. How do you actually sort through, to find these diamonds in the rough?
Yeah, good question, David. We do have a custom search field on the left-hand side of all our listings, and you can set up, if you become a Flippa member, sign up for Flippa, it's free. You can actually set up your own custom searches. So, for example, if I'm looking at sites that are under $2,000 but have traffic, they have 1,000 to 5,000 visitors per month and maybe no revenue and a page rank of 2, I can set up a search around that. And I can even subscribe to that search so it emails me if any listings come up. So it's a great way to figure out what your buying criteria is and set up a search in Flippa, and it's always there. You can go and have a look at it, or you can subscribe to receive those results via email. Yeah,
I think you hit something right on the head there, and the idea that making sure that you predefine what your search criteria is, or what it is that you're looking for, because otherwise you can just get lost, and there's so many different opportunities there. Hey, are you looking to buy a software website? Are you looking to buy a ClickBank style information site? Are you buying an e-commerce site? There's so many different business models online, so if you can get a clear picture of what it is that you're going after,
absolutely,
and price range.
And that really comes down to the variety of people that are using Flippa. Say I want to start blogging. I don't have a clue on how to set up a blog. I just want to start writing. Well, there's plenty of sites at the lower end of Flippa that you can spend $200 to $300 and have a ready-made blog and start blogging. If you're an SEO guy, you might find a site that's got a great keyword domain. It's got a lot of original content, but it might not be getting a lot of traffic and it doesn't have many backlinks. Well, you go, well, I'm good at SEO. What a great opportunity! Here's a couple of weeks' work already done for me, and a good domain. I'll buy that and do what I'm good at.
Yeah, there's definitely a huge opportunity in buying domain names, and to switch gears a little bit, and maybe if we take the other side of things from selling, I think when I think about what I've done with traditional business, a lot of money was made upon the sale of business. That seems to be a good point where you really cash out. So when it comes to selling, let's say that maybe you've jumped on Flippa, you've bought a good domain name, you got a good buy, you've done a little bit of work to it, you've built up that value, and now you're looking to sell it or flip it. What are some best practices when it comes to selling?
Well, it really goes back, reflects the buying criteria as well. How do you make it attractive to buyers? And it really depends on what the buyer's looking for. If you've got a site that's got a keyword domain name in a good niche, then in your auction letter, in your sales page on Flippa, tell everyone about the benefits of this site. Okay, it's in the dog training niche. That example's been used a lot, but I like it. So it's in the dog training niche. Let's say it's organic dog food. You can tell people how many searches that particular keyword or keywords around that niche you're getting per month. Sell the niche. Tell them what sort of keywords you're ranking for. Tell them if you're getting some decent monthly revenue. And some other things. Really, when you're selling a site, just try and be as transparent as you can. I know a lot of people, some people are a bit worried about giving away their niche ideas, but believe you me, someone else has thought of it before. And if you've developed a good site, you've got some good backlinks, you're getting some good traffic, that's a lot of the hard work done. So make sure you sell those benefits.
Yeah, I think from the few that I have done, the biggest thing I've learned, it's all about, and this comes just from selling, it's telling the story, explaining why it is that you're selling it, making sure that the person fully understands that side of things. Because when you're dealing online, and this goes for any website, the biggest hurdle people have to overcome is that proof in what you say. And you hit the nail on the head as far as transparency is concerned, because people need to know and understand and believe what it is that you're saying. So.
Yeah, and look, it comes down to trust as well. One of the good things that some of our sellers have been doing is a video walkthrough, like literally using something like Jing, which is a free, basically screencasting product. literally walking through the site. If it's got a content management system, going through that and showing some of the basic functionality at the back end of the site, even going into ClickBank, if it's a ClickBank product, and showing some analytics. And speaking over it, because that sort of, people then start to trust. They're hearing the person behind the site. They're developing a connection because the person's actually talking to them, even though it's through the screen. It's just like if you're open and honest about the site that you're selling, sell the benefits and the features.
And I think the video is an excellent idea. As many sort of screen capture things that you can put links back to either other auctions that you've done, other proof elements. Hey, go check out my blog. I'm a real person. Friend me. All that sort of stuff just continues to build that. And if people want to see, because doing that video thing, it's something that I've done as well, and there's a few videos on my YouTube account that step by step go through that. It tells the story, we log into the analytics, we show what you're getting, and people just resonate with that.
Absolutely. Look, it's it would take someone a lot of time to fake that stuff. So if you do that openly and honestly, people are going to get a good idea that you feed income.
Once we sort of come to the idea, okay, well now we've sold it, and this I suppose is important for both the buyer, particularly the buyer, but also the seller, to make sure that the transaction goes as smoothly as possible and make sure that the domain name gets handed over, things like SEO positioning stays and the business continues. Do you have any sort of, again, best practices?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of stipulation around how Google sees the transfer of a domain to a new registrar and the change of whois information. Most of the high-end SEO guys suggest that you do the transition gradually. So you might first change the whois details, but you leave the domain registered with the existing registrar and the site hosted where it is, or vice versa. Transfer the site to a new hosting account and then gradually transfer the site over. I've one of the lower end sites that I've bought that had reasonable rankings. I transferred it over the course of 2 months, and I didn't see a drop in rankings for keywords. But it's certainly with a higher end site, I'd be really careful around how quickly you transfer domain name. If you can keep the domain name with the same registrar, it's a good idea. Certainly, a lot of sellers will offer you a period of free hosting. Which it's certainly good to take them up on that offer for a short period of time, 3 to 6 months. I also believe that it's actually for the buyer's benefit to make sure they have full control over the site, so put it under their own hosting. Certainly for sellers, sellers should also do their due diligence around the buyer. If you're selling a site that takes 40 hours a month to maintain, and there's some expertise that you need around maintaining the site, then you've got to make sure that the buyer is up to that. Otherwise, it's not going to be pretty in the end, and the buyer's not going to end up with value because they don't have the expertise to maintain the site. So.
Yeah, I think the idea that you were talking about spanning it over, I know I recently had that auction that went on Flippa for the wrestling moves, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And we firstly just moved it over from the hosting account, have let it sit, and we've talked about in a month or so, we'll then look at swapping the domain name. We haven't seen any drop off yet, and I think that's probably the best way to handle it.
Yeah, definitely. Slowly. And once again, it can be difficult to do that, or because as a buyer, you probably want to get ownership of it really quickly. And but once again, if you've done your due diligence with the seller, they're trustworthy, then you can come together and make sure that transition happens smoothly.
Yeah.
Get to know your seller, get to know your buyer.